intersection of good drinks, good music, and good times. This is Hops and Spirits Bar Conversations.
You know, I think it's been a minute since we've talked to someone from the great north of us here in the USA, and I got a great guest for you this week. But before that, don't forget to follow us on all of our social media and check out Beyond the Bar, where we go beyond the conversation and dive deeper into a song and an artist and have a little bit of fun there. But we got a country artist who made his Opry debut on Friday, and just to, double down on it, released two new songs, one called Worth the Devil and the other one, Welcome to Rock Bottom. Let's welcome in Jade Eagleson.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. It's interesting weather here this last week, a little colder than normal, but other than that, good.
Now, I was going to say, are you in Nashville these days, or where are you? Where's home base for you these days?
Yeah, I've been in Nashville for 3 years now with my wife and my two boys, so it's our home now. It kind of was anyway. We're coming so much over the last 9 years that it's like we've always wanted to live here, so we finally did it 3 years ago.
Well, I was going to say the cold spell had to feel good then, if you're used to the Canadian winters and summers.
Yeah, it's definitely normal. It felt like just a regular Canadian summer, but everyone's got their sweaters on.
Well, this is Bar Conversations. I decided, to break out something a little nice. Got a little Joseph Magnus Cigar blend bourbon. I know you're not a big drinker, but what's your go-to drink these days? You coffee guy, something else? What's your go-to?
Man, now that I'm a dad, I'm just a coffee guy. I mean, back in the day, whatever was flowing on tap, man.
Now, when you say you're a coffee guy, do you have like the full setup at home, or you just kind of coffee pot and that works?
Man, I'll tell you, I'm starting to think about that. I can't even, there's like a Jura or I can't remember the name of it, but a few people that I know have it because their publishers bought them these things. And I thought that a Keurig did a pretty dang good job, but man, these things are insane.
So you might be stepping up your game is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, for the price point it's at right now, it may have to come down before I invest in that.
Fair enough. But you do have a lot to celebrate these days. You made your Grand Ole Opry debut on Friday night. What was it like to step into that circle and be there?
Yeah, I honestly don't have words to describe it. I can normally sit and make some stuff up in my head to say, but it's just crazy. It was the craziest thing that I've ever done in my life. It kind of, when I started singing and playing country music and learning what it was all about, that was kind of at the top of my mountain. So to have done that, man, it's incredible. You just have to experience it. As an artist, you just have to experience it.
Well, I was gonna say, now that you've crossed that off the bucket list, what's at the top of the bucket list, or is that to be determined still?
I'm going with the flow. I mean, the next step is to hopefully someday become a member. That'd be pretty awesome. The getting there and kind of getting the scary part out, which is debuting. So that's over with. Now I got a bunch of performances to go. I don't think I'll ever catch up to Miss Jeannie Seeley, but I think she's got like 3,000 or something like that. But certainly going to get some under my belt and hopefully aim for that.
I like that. And I also love what the Opry does sometimes with how, they surprise you with the news. And it was your son, Levi, that surprised you. How did he do that, and what was it like to get the news from him?
Man, it was crazy. I found out two different ways. It was the first one I found out I was actually playing it through Brent Mason. And if you don't know Brent Mason, he's basically on every single 90s country song in existence. He's playing guitar on it. But he's there helping myself and the band out with some live show stuff. And he told me, and, it's kind of like a shock to the system. I couldn't believe it. And then I didn't hear anything about it for a couple months until one day my son came in with a cake and with a date on it too. So it was crazy.
I love that. A little 1-2 punch. Leave you, wondering and hoping and that anticipation, and then getting to hear it is awesome. And you mentioned you got the two sons. You and your wife recently welcomed your second son earlier this year. Are you guys getting sleep? How's that going with two little ones?
I'm sure you know all about it. It's yeah, there ain't no sleep. It's basically just kind of just coasting. Yeah, you just kind of wake up the next day with whatever sleep you have and get the job done and task at hand.
I was gonna say, was the life of a musician good for being a dad? Just waking up at all hours in different places, doing everything. Did
Yeah,
that prepare you?
I'd say it did a bit, honestly. I think it definitely helps, when you're on the road and you have like 2 hours of sleep before the next thing. Yeah, it's definitely nicer too that you can sleep or at least lay down somewhere. It's kind of nice.
Well, and I love too just your story of how you met your wife. Is it true that you met her on the video shoot for your first single, Got Your Name on It?
Yeah, it is. I figured that a girl that pretty wasn't going to come to my farm twice, so I slid into the DMs. I got made sure that I got her to stick around. Sure enough, she did.
I was gonna say, I mean, then I hear the story of your first date. You planned something super romantic, and then the mosquitoes tend to interrupt that a little bit, and I guess leave a nice story for you to tell later on in life.
Oh, they did their darndest, that's for sure. Yeah, we went out and got Chinese food and drove off to the field, and I was in my back field, and we just kind of sat underneath and watched the stars, like, and you know, it's kind of romantic as you can get for a guy with my budget at the time. Uh, and it was pretty great. I mean, I really enjoyed it. And then obviously in Ontario, if you're out there in the middle of summer and it's nighttime, the mosquitoes, they'll get you, and they're relentless.
Well, clearly she likes something about you, and you like something about her. I also loved reading too that I guess you really cemented it when you decided to leave North America for the first time to see her in Europe, of all places. Is that right?
Yeah, that chased her down over there, and I never left Canada, so I flew out over there and met her family down there. It was really really cool. It was interesting. You get there and the elevators operate backwards. The second floor is downstairs. It was a strange time.
Well, like I said, it all worked out. And you talk about where you grew up on the farm in Ontario. Being there on your grandparents' kind of small town farm out there. What was that like growing up there and just kind of being around that kind of lifestyle?
It's a lot of work, man. That's the thing is you learn how to work hard, and I'm always grateful to my grandparents and to my dad for kind of instilling that work ethic effort or in me ethic. Oh man, learn how to speak. Instilling that work ethic in me, and it's helped me in this career uh, more than words could ever describe. I mean, it just has this gives you this drive because it's a lot of work. I mean, if you don't go out and do the dang thing, then you just don't eat. It's as simple as that.
Well, and with that kind of lifestyle of working hard, being out on the farm, was country music on in the trucks and things like that? What music did you grow up on?
That's all it was on, man. It was other than my old man would have the Def Leppard going sometimes, and my mom ABBA. I love ABBA. That's another great band. But for me, it was my favorite music that I listened to growing up was always on the record player. My grandpa would throw a record on. It'd be Jimmy Rogers or Hank Snow or someone, some old country singer that he listened to when he's maybe a bit younger in his teenage years or something that he enjoyed. So he would sit and listen to that, and he was half deaf, so the whole house heard it when he he sat down to listen. And man, he had this one Wilf Carter thing. I think it was a Wilf Carter record, and Wilf Carter's kind of like I would almost call him the Canadian version of Jamie Rogers. He was he'd yodel and stuff. And he was pretty great, but there's a couple songs on there that if I didn't have to ever hear again, I'd be just fine with it.
I was gonna say it makes some amazing memories that you get to keep though, and I'm guessing with that love of kind of country music, growing up around all that old music, are you pretty good then with facts and trivia? Or do you win like music trivia most nights then when you go out and about? If it's at least old school country.
Oh, if it's old school country, I'd win. I'd say the one dude that probably can out trivia me is Jake Worthington. That guy, man. Him and I were sitting down, and there's things he's telling me about country music that I didn't know. And that's a rare thing to happen. But he's an encyclopedia of stuff.
I was gonna say, what made you kind of go down that rabbit hole and just kind of learn about the older country and kind of fall in love with it?
I don't know what it is, if I'm an old soul or whatever it is. It's just what I love. I absolutely just love it. So, for me, it was less about wanting to learn and more just trying to find songs to listen to. So I'd be like nonstop looking for more music I could just take in. And that led me just organically all through like Bakersfield and the Bristol sessions and all that stuff. It made me fall in love from, everyone from like the Carter family to, everybody in the 60s that was doing the thing. I just love all of it a whole ton.
Well, and then obviously, like I said, growing up in Canada, I'm sure there's a few artists that stood out, and you had always wanted to meet Shaina Twain, right? And did you really kind of end up getting the meetup on the way to the bathroom? Is that right?
Yeah, I was, it's
I
kind
gotta
of on
hear
the
this
way.
story.
So I just come off stage in Switzerland. I was opening up for Emmylou Harris and a lot of great artists on that bill. But Shania, who was living in Switzerland at the time, I didn't even really think about it. But I finished my show and I walked off, and there was a gentleman standing kind of by the door of the washroom, and he said, "You're a Canadian guy, right?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." Um, and he's like, I said, "Well, my wife's Canadian." And I was kind of like looking at him. I was like, "This guy's familiar looking." And before you know it, all the pieces kind of just put themselves together. And he's like, "It's Shania," and everything just slowed down. I swear to God. And he pointed to her, and sure enough, she's sitting there. And he's like, "Well, when you're done in there, come say hi." And man, I V-lined it for the door. I was so scared. She's my hero, right? One of my heroes. So I finished, kind of calmed down. He flagged me over. I got to meet her, and she was absolutely lovely. I talked to her for a bit, and then um, I was out kind of moseying around, and then I ran into him again, and we started talking again, and just really awesome human being. I mean, she's got like pulled out her cell phone, and there's like a crack in it, and she's showing me her horses, and she trains all her horses. Got a mean handshake too. She's legit. She's a country girl and incredibly talented and kind.
Well, you never know what happens when you meet your star, your idols, and things like that, and it's awesome when they're that down to earth and really just like you at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, it was really special. It really was a very special moment in my life. Just getting to meet her and see who she was, and knowing that someone that I'm aspiring to be like is that kind and that wonderful of a human.
Well, and for you, when you obviously like we said, you're able to do some pretty cool things. You would do the Opry, got to perform in some pretty cool places. But it all started back in I think 2017 when you decided to step away, kind of from the farm life, because you seventh generation farmer, what you would have been or are still, if you kind of want to call it that. And how difficult was it to do that and pursue music?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too tough once I started playing music more. I mean, there's certain aspects of farming that I'll always miss. Just getting up and putting a hard day's work in, but you can do the same thing here. It's just different, right? It's a passion for me. Going out and playing music and writing, and that for me is as much work as it is really where I find the most of my joy when it comes to work. I mean, going out and playing something you wrote and seeing that type of connection, it's hard to beat. I think that someday maybe I'll have a ranch somewhere when I retire and I'm too old to do it. No one wants to see me shake my moneymaker on stage anymore. I'll probably switch to ranching or something when it's all said and done. But I don't know, man. For right now, this is what I love doing. I'm really passionate about it, and I'm really blessed to be doing it.
I was gonna say you're shaking it pretty well these days, and you've been able to find some success on the Canadian charts at the 2023 Canadian Country Music Awards. You were crowned Entertainer of the Year, Male Artist of the Year. Is it validating to have that type of success, or what's that success like? As you kind of transitioned out of the farm life to the music life.
It's certainly validating. I think that, it's like any profession. If you get a trade, it's 4 years before you can get your seal, and it kind of goes with the music thing. Except sometimes it takes longer, right? They call Nashville a 10-year town. It's kind of just putting in the repetitions and getting better and better and better. So, I knew that all along. I knew that it was going to take a bit of time to get those reps in. But when you do win something, it's validating. It's kind of like a pat on the back saying, like, hey, you're getting there, right? You're doing the right thing. It's kind of like your certificate, but it's crazy. It really is. It's a big honor.
I was gonna say, when you really think about it, that's 6 years, 7 years that you've been doing this, the kind of full time, gave it the full go. Did you ever expect to kind of have that success when you started? I mean, I know that's the goal, but it's different when it actually happens.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I kind of somewhere in my heart I knew that this was the path God wanted me to be on. I thought a lot about it. I was 2 years into a trade up in Alberta when I decided to move home.
Ooh.
And my whole family was like, "You're crazy. You're almost done." And I was like, "No, I got to do this. I really feel that I got to do it." And I stumbled along the way and stuff like that. But I've been pretty serious about it from a young age. Just going out and doing my best and seeing if I can make it. And every step I get closer, it's incredibly validating and exciting. But I knew I prayed on it a lot, and I was like, if this is a decision I'm going to make, and I just need to be sure that it's the right one. And there's a lot of signs early on that it was the right decision. So just got to put my faith in God's plan, and here we are.
I was gonna say, like, you're here. I mean, you made the Opry debut on Friday, and just double down on it all. You decided to throw out some new music too. Why not, right?
Yeah,
big celebration.
Marketing.
But two great songs, two very different songs. Worth the double, kind of fun play on words there, and then obviously a little bit more, I guess sadish song. Welcome to Rock Bottom. What about those two songs drew you to them, and kind of being different too?
Yeah, I mean, Worth Double was pitched to me by my good friend Travis Wood, who's having crazy success down here. He's from Canada, grew up 20 minutes from me, and he's just crushing it down here. He's getting cut after cut. And so anytime he sends something and is like, this is a good idea, I normally listen to him. And I think it's great. I think it kind of did everything I wanted it to do in production world. And Todd, did a really great job reeling that in and making that shine. But we needed that song that was a bit Shaina Twain-esque, and that one hit the nail on the head. And then Rock Bottom, that was kind of like this idea I had for a long time. And I took it to Gordy Sampson and Kelly Archer, and I was like, I have this melody and all this stuff, and I just had all these lyrics that were a mess. They're like, whoa, let's try to do like this and that. And, we all reeled it in together, and it was really cool to see that one come to life.
I was gonna say they're two great songs. I think the one that drew it to me was "Shaking in Them Boots." Was one of the first ones I heard of yours, and it's you've got you tend to have fun with a lot of your music, even if the subject material may not always be fun. But what is it about kind of having that little bit of an upbeat, or at least a little bit of more upbeat songs than, say, your average country artist these days?
I think it's so important, man, because at the end of the day, when you're buying tickets to a show, people don't want to go out and have a bad time and just listen to sad music, right? So it's kind of important to me that you still have a message in your song, if it's a breakup or whatever it is, but just have a more positive outlook on it. so that when we're playing those songs live and the steel guitars ripping and the fiddles are ripping, that people can take a message from something and have a good time while doing it. And it's really benefited us in our live show. We go out there, we have twin fiddles in a lot of shows and steel, and there's at least one fiddle and one steel at every show. I'm darn sure of it. But we have a great time, and those songs are kind of a good betting for that.
I love to hear the steel guitar and fiddle. I mean, that sounds like a fantastic time.
Oh, I have a good time. I sure do.
And you talked about this guy a little bit earlier, that he might know a little more country facts than you, and that's Jake Worthington.
Yeah.
I got to meet him down in Texas a few years ago, and he is who he is. I mean, it's wild when you think about it. You re-released "Do It Anyway" with him. How did that come to be? Why did you want to have him on a song like that?
Man, I've been such a big fan of him since day one. I remember scrolling through Facebook or something, the videos, and his reel popped up. I was like, get real. This isn't real life. And I listened. I was like, it is. And I listened to it again and again and again. I think it might have been, and then I think a couple of years later or something, the same thing happened again. I think he's doing a cover of Rose-Colored Glasses by John Connolly. And man, he just blew me away. I couldn't believe it. And so I became a huge fan of him just because his voice is so incredible. And I told my team, I was like, I really, really want this guy on a song. So we pitched a few songs over his way, and we settled on that one. That was one of the ones that I was super excited about. And I feel that it just felt like it was missing something when we cut it the first time. And I think I felt that way because it was meant to be Jake, honestly. I think Jake was supposed to sing on that, and I'm glad he did. He came up to the CCMAs. We had a great time. He's just a really amazing human. I'm sure you met him, but he's just a genuine, sweet, sweet man.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, what was it like introducing him to Canada? Did everyone did he behave up there and have a good time?
I don't know that boy. He behaved. He was a good boy for sure. He was. He is awesome, and everyone loved him. He was taking. I mean, I think all he has to do is open his mouth, and people are fans. So that's what he did. He went up there and made a bunch of fans.
Well, and that's what you're doing down here this way, and in the States and everywhere. And you released that "Do It Anyway" is actually the title track to your last album, which you released last year around this time. But obviously you re-released the title track. You've put out now "Worth the Double," "Welcome to Rock Bottom." We're going to keep seeing more music. Is another project coming? What can you tell me that won't get you in trouble, at least?
Oh, we're writing the whole time. There's a whole new project coming for sure. There's always new music coming. I think that's something that I want to stay consistent on, and just making sure that we're always putting something in that people can consume and be excited about. And just continuing to follow this path down here in the U.S. and see what we can do down here. I've had some really great support and really blessed to have got a great team around me that's supporting me down here. So I'm very excited to see what the future holds.
Well, and I'm excited to see it too, because like I said, I've loved your music for a good while, and you talked a little bit about it on Welcome to Rock Bottom. You kind of had an idea where a couple co-writers came in, kind of fine-tuned it a little bit, brought it into focus. What's that songwriting process like for you when you do go write and co-write and things like that? What's it like for you?
It's different every time. I mean, sometimes I'll go in there and I have an idea that has to match a certain melody, or I'll have a melody. I'm like, do you have an idea that matches this? I'm very weird like that. The energy has to be the same. But it's really excellent. You find a crew that you work well with. And you keep writing with them. That's what happens a lot down here, and it's a great way to write. It's also good to write with just as many people as you can, and just learn. So you're always learning and you're always developing your skill. But it is a lot of fun. Everyone has something different to offer, and it's different every day.
I was going to say, and you can kind of see that a little bit in your music. Like I said, you kind of give a little bit of different sides of yourself on on the songs. And you talked a little bit about your live show already, where you're going to have a good time. Got the steel guitars, the fiddles out there. What's the best part of being on stage for you?
And just connecting, if you build a moment in a show or it's in a song, and just seeing it connect with somebody, you can look at someone's face and read that what you're doing is registering with them. That's the best feeling in the world. That's why we do this.
I was going to say, I mean, what was that first time like for you when either someone sang a song back to you or even just, commented on a song about how they saw themselves in it? I'm guessing that had to be a little bit of a surreal moment.
Yeah, I teared up the first time people sang my song back to me. I remember exactly where I was. I remember when it was. I remember every detail about it. And I just remember, like, you still see the room, just in the people and how I felt. It's you still feel that way. You obviously get better at kind of keeping your emotions in check, but you still feel that when people are singing your song back to you. There's a magic thing that happens where you're kind of like, wow, like you just are very aware that this is a crazy dream you're living.
You got to pinch yourself, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, and you've been staying busy. You've been on the road across Canada, Europe, U.S. all summer long. You've enjoyed Cody Johnson up in Canada for the Leather Tour on some dates. What's it been like on tour lately, and what was it like hopping on with Cody Johnson up there?
Man, it's been great getting down here and touring and kind of experiencing this what it's like to kind of be all over the place. But getting Cody, we watched Cody's show, and I said to the whole band, I was like, we're reworking everything. We have a great live show and have always had a great live show. But after watching him, I was like, we got to level up because what I witnessed him do in that stadium was nothing short of incredible. It was absolutely mind-blowing how amazing this show was. He came out, his pitch center was perfect from top to bottom. He didn't have one bad note. And it's all a live band, man. That's how it should be. He went out there and just played music and did right by country music.
I was going to say, I mean, someone like him that, I know he comes from kind of the Texas country music scene. You're in a sense coming from the Canadian country music scene. Is he kind of in a sense inspirational to see someone that crossed over maybe from some place to hit that kind of mainstream with what I'm guessing is your ultimate goal in Nashville?
It absolutely is. I think that it shows that you can build reps somewhere and still, I think what Cody did is he's not scared to work. I think that if it took him, starting from ground zero again, just to break and do it globally, I think he was willing to do that, and he did. And here we are. We're watching him do crazy, crazy things in his career, and it's amazing.
Now, I always ask the same question at every show to start. What's your favorite drink, go-to drink? And toward the end, I always ask this one. It's probably my favorite one, and it always gets a good answer and a good reaction. And what is your favorite song of yours these days that you like to perform live on stage?
These days, it changes every show. Right now, I would say Rock Bottom's a lot of fun. When the twin fiddles kick in there's something really amazing that happens when two fiddles just start sawing at the start of a show or a song. It's quite magical.
Now I got to ask on the flip side, is there one that you all like a cover or, just a song you grew up that you love to perform or at least throw in every now and then on a show?
Yeah, there's a few of them. I'd say the one that I play the most if I'm doing like an acoustic encore, I'll play King of the Road by Roger Miller. I love that song. I'll play. It was one of the first songs I learned, so it's my old party tricks. But now I love playing some like Daryl Singletary or what else have we been doing? Some Buck Owens, stuff like that. I love doing that.
I love it. Like I said, it's always fun to hear either what new song you've got that you like to play or maybe someone else's song that you love to bring back to life. And, like I said, you got the new songs out right now, Worth the Double, Welcome to Rock Bottom. What else can folks expect from you the rest of 2024 and on into 2025?
Lots more country music and I mean, a couple of shows too. We're headed up Texas way this next month here, so excited to see some folks out there and just have a good time.
Well, Jade, you're doing some good things, making some damn good music, and I appreciate you sharing a little bit of your story with me, and I can't wait to see what's next, man.
Well, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Find more from Hops and Spirits at hopspirits.com.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.